Where on the Steam charts does Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League currently stand? Speaking of just insanity and ideology, remember when Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was coming out and everyone was like, nope, and it was tied to Sweet Baby Inc. And that was the first big, I'd say the first big bomb to drop in this. That was the big awakening a couple months ago when that was released. It really opened a lot of people's eyes. Well, Warner Brothers has linked their failed quarter, their first quarter financial results directly to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League for the amount of money that it missed.
It's better than that. And they linked the failed results from last year to Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, that makes sense.
They said it ate all their profits, all their sales.
Wait, so this other game was bigger than ours, so people didn't buy our game because we didn't do a good enough job. Is that's the logic behind it?
Yeah, that's what I seem to remember. I read the article that you sent, before the show, and I remember reading that, and I was like, just double getting sort of woke body slammed here themselves.
Wow, that's insane to think about. Well, let's go to this story from IGN. As Warner Brothers says the failure of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League contributed to a $200 million hit to revenue right here. And I'm interested to see how much of this is tied if there's a single reference to the revolt to this game in this article right here, which they talk about the extremely low player numbers on Steam. Some of the frustration stems from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League not being another Batman game from Rocksteady, despite the fact that it's set within the Arkhamverse. The developers' Batman Arkham series is much loved by the fans. Is that really? Do you think that's really why there was frustration behind that game? I feel like it's a little bit of a revisionist history when it comes to why people were so not inclined to check the game out. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. And this was just a little bit. It's just a couple months ago now. So, but the tune of a $200 million miss in the first quarter due to the failures. He says, starting with studios, the $400 million year-over-year decline during Q1 was primarily due to the very tough comp we faced in games against the success of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter. In conjunction with,
I understood it. It's like, yeah, they developed Hogwarts Legacy, and that's why their sales are lower this year. So they actually made money from that. My bad.
Yes. In conjunction with the disappointing Suicide Squad release this past quarter, which we impaired, leading to a $200 million impact to Idibka during the first quarter. Blabs, do you know what this means? Ibitka?
No, I'll look it up. But I want to point out, isn't this also
yes, earnings before interest, some taxes, dividends, and
a credit?
Amortization, right.
It basically means how much money they're making every year that can be spent or sent to. Anyway, yeah.
It's a business term.
But I just want to point out that this is also Warner Brothers who are saying after the results of Suicide Squad that they were going to focus on online multiplayer games now instead of the one game like Hogwarts Legacy that did really well only as a single player game, which is ironic.
I'll say this. Not a single reference here to the controversy around by either Warner Brothers or IGN surrounding this game. Because I think in the grand, like when you look back at 2024, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will not be remembered for its poor sales. They'll be remembered why the sales were poor. And I think it was the beginning of the revolt. Like it was a very big flag in the ground.
Well, there was a lot of things wrong with this game. Shitty actual gameplay was really shitty. The characters looked like crap. The bastardization of characters, it being Kevin Conroy's supposedly last ever lines. Now they're saying that there's another thing that he's done before he passed away. So it's like accumulation, not to mention obviously Sweet Baby Inc. involved with the bastardization of all the male characters. All of this just accumulated into just a big failure.
But I also find very interesting that their takeaway from this is to go more online. I mean, what this was trying to ride on the Batman Arkham brand and the quality of the early Batman Arkham games and say, oh, we're going to do that. But the way it was different from the early Batman Arkham games is that it was a live service game. So much more online, which I think in addition to the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy is one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't engage with it because they just don't have the time for those type of games. And now they're trying to move further in the direction.
Yeah, they're trying to do more multiplayer video games after Suicide Squad, which makes no sense because obviously Hogwarts Legacy, for whatever its reasons, did really well and it was a first player game. You would think they would do that. Instead, they are making a Hogwarts Legacy 2, but they're also going to focus more onto multiplayer games, which is like, but why? You flopped.
My read here is what's probably going on is a business perspective thing, even like for the online thing. It's much easier to project the potential of giant earnings with minimum development time and effort if you are using the internet to generate your content like other players and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I wonder if we're going to see a swing after thing like, you know, the explosion of Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, where people just clearly put in the time to make a really high quality game. And the financial results showed that. Because you would think that with stuff like that and Hogwarts Legacy, that you would see a shift back away from online stuff. And we're not seeing that, which I think goes to show how large bureaucracies can make decisions because of bureaucratic incentives that no individual human would ever make if they were optimizing for creating a good product and for the end user. But the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy also really needs to be elevated with this, that we are seeing a genuine revolution against these gaming companies. And, you know, it's not just this one, like the general public now seems to be anti-woke. Like the anti-woke side seems to have won with the consumers, but the large companies, due to things like the DEI departments, don't have the agility to react to the changing consumer sentiments, and are actually doubling down. Because you could say, well, you know, the game development cycle is a few years, so they just haven't reacted yet. But we see within Nintendo and Xbox and stuff like that, a doubling down on DEI sort of messaging and incentives, which, I mean, the only long-term outcome I can see from all of this is it gives an artificial boost to indie games within the gaming market, which for me is actually a great thing because indie games have been getting increasingly more like AAA games from my perspective, and are just more enjoyable overall. And the level of content you're getting in indie games is much deeper now. So I don't even see like the point of AAA games anymore almost.
It has obviously been a tremendous flop in the worst way possible. I always love to play the game to see where it is on the Steam charts right now. And I'm going to let you know right now that there are currently 114 people playing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, an all-time low. Now, this was released back in February, right? And it immediately fell off. They saw the bump from DLC here. And currently it's sitting at a massive 114 players. You may be asking yourself, hey, Craig, where does that rank in the grand pantheon of top games on Steam right now? Well, Malcolm, while you were letting us know your thoughts and all that, I was doing a little bit of research. And let's play the over-under game. Where on the Steam charts does Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League currently stand? Chat, this is for you as well. Where does 114 players currently rank you? Malcolm, let's start with you first.
I'm going to guess 10,000.
Okay. All right. Blabs?
That was what I was thinking too. I think it's around 10,000.
Okay. Then I'm going to make another bet here. If you're going for the 10,000 mark, I'm going to go 6,000.
Okay. All right. Well, you both have overshot it but not by much. It is currently sitting at the 2,767th most played game on Steam right now, with 115 players with its peak right here. So
Total Annihilation. When did that game come out? Is that
right?
What's 2075?
Yeah. So right. Surrounded by games like Autonauts and Dicey Dungeons.
There was a Halo game in there. Star Wars Republic Commando, Halo Definitive Edition. Damn.
And NBA 2K18.
Yeah, it's that Total Annihilation from 1997.
Right. So it's currently being beat out by Nova Lands, Chicken Invaders Universe, and Sumba Blocks 2 Open Alpha. So there you go. Animal Jam also on top. Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy is currently beating it with 117.
That one's a really old game.
That's a
I know.
very old game, but a solid game nonetheless, right?
Wow, that is there you go. There's your Suicide Squad update. Maybe we should make that a regular feature on the show.
Where is Suicide Squad on the charts this week?
Suicide Squad update. Let's see exactly where it is. So,
It looks like a chore. Like, did you play it? Did you try the game?
No.
I would never buy that.
Right.
Yeah,
go ahead, Malcolm.
No, I just saw it and it looked like a chore. Like when I was looking at the game, I know this type of game where it's this live service thing, and I'm like, I've got kids and a family. Like, I don't have time for this sort of a game. And then, if even the story reward is super ideological, then that's a chore to get through as well. So, like, who is buying this?
I'll tell you what, man. This is
for Batman and all them. That's it.
Batman's the bad guy.
Yeah, but the Sims will still buy it because they're like, "Oh, what'd you expect? Just kill the Justice League?" And then be like, "Oh," and then they go and buy it.
Wouldn't it be great if we could get some good Arkham style games again, like the original ones, that beat 'em up style of game? That I just haven't seen a game that uses those mechanics in a while, and they were actually quite fun.